There are personal trainers who are constantly chasing new leads. And then there are those trainers who continue to stay booked year after year. In this episode, I'm going to talk about what those high demand trainers do differently and why their clients don't leave, even when a cheaper option may exist. Welcome to the Solo Trainer Podcast. This podcast is for personal trainer solopreneurs, those who are thinking about and those who have already made the leap. Here, you're going to get real stories, expert advice, and coaching strategies to help you create a thriving business. Hi, I am Ginger Seamus. I am your host, and I've been an independent personal trainer for over 9 years and a personal trainer and in the fitness industry for much longer than that. So today's episode isn't specifically to help those that are independent or thinking about becoming independent, but also for those that are in the gym, those that are struggling to get that strong client base, that consistent client base, and continue to be booked. Before I dive into this, I do want to say for those of you who are out there that are thinking about going on your own and you're wondering how to do it or curious all the steps and what's needed to have your own business, I have the detailed resource guide for you that's free on the website, thesolotrainer.com. Links to it will be below. It's a guidebook that gives you all the action steps that you need in order to start, run, manage your business. So if you're thinking about it, or maybe you've already taken that leap and you're not sure if you've taken all the right steps to have a solid foundational business, then you'll want to check that guide out. All right, so we are talking about what high demand trainers do differently to keep themselves booked. As I've shared, I've been a trainer for a long time. Before I went on my own, I spent time training in a couple of different training studios. I even managed trainers. And everything that I'm going to be sharing with you that these high demand trainers do differently either have heard it from talking with members who work with trainers that I manage on why they work with trainers. And what I've noticed over the years and what really causes trainers to stand out and to fill their calendars faster than those who struggle. Also, these things that I'm sharing with you are things that clients of mine have shared with me on why they enjoy working with me and prefer to have worked with me compared to maybe some experience with trainers they've had in the past. Here's one of the things that high demand trainers have, and they have a client-centered thinking. They start with who the client is and not what exercises they want to coach. They actively listen to what their clients state are their goals, why they want to train, and what they want to get out of training. And it's also not only important to they listen to what they say what their clients want, but also what's not said. And that can be just as important as trying to recognize what are those unspoken concerns that client or potential client has to make sure that you are crafting the best training experience for them. These trainers also ask a lot of follow-up questions instead of assuming what the client wants. They clarify what they think they're hearing from their client to be sure that they understand them fully and what they're looking for and what they're wanting to achieve. It's a very open communication and dialogue with the client. It's not about the trainer being the dictator, although the expert on understanding what can be best for their fitness and their movement, but it's still a collaborative effort to make sure that they're involving their clients in the decisions and things that are being made, as well explaining very much why they select certain things for their clients to do or not do. Another component to this client-centered thinking that high demand trainers do, and that is their programming that they create for their clients is really focused on their priorities, their lifestyles, their confidence level, and their past experiences. So if clients, when they're sharing things with them about what's most important, maybe what's not enjoyed in the past with working out, they are developing that in their programming. Now, I'm going to talk more about programming here in a bit, but they are creating programs that are completely focused on that individual and not just what the trainer feels like they should be doing. And part of that is also meeting clients where they're at, meeting them at not only at their physically, at like their what their current fitness level is, what their capabilities are, in relationship to whatever injuries or some other sort of medical conditions or stuff that you need to be aware of, but also mentally being aware of like where your client is mentally and meeting them there. Do you need to be high energy? Do you need to be more low energy? Do you need to share a lot and talk a lot, or do you need to be more quiet? Are you helping to keep your clients keep up with their count, or do they keep up with their count? These trainers adapt to who the individual is versus always having the same thing for every person and treating each person the same. So these high demand trainers aren't asking, what should I train today? They are asking, what does this client need right now moving forward? This client-centered thinking builds trust and emotional buy-in, and these are two major drivers for retention. And I have heard clients over and over tell me from either why they work with the trainer or from working with myself that they enjoy working with that trainer and continue to work with them because they have listened to their needs, their goals, and met them where they are at. So here's another thing that high demand personal trainers do. They intentionally plan. Intentional planning causes clients to feel safer because they see that that trainer has a roadmap. And clients stay when they believe that trainer knows where they're taking them. So high demand trainers don't wing it. They show structure from day one. How these high demand trainers start showing their plan from day one is starting with the initial conversation that they have. That initial consultation, they have a structure to it that allows them to be able to focus on the client, get information on what the needs that that client has, but as well as be able to show how they can help them and the services that they provide. Then when it gets to that comp session, whether you're doing like a fitness assessment, these trainers also have a structure for that comp session. The assessment shows these potential clients that they not only craft programs based on what the client's looking for and their goals, but also what they see in their fitness assessment and having that baseline level so that they can properly program for that individual. And also these consultations, how they're structured, really be able to show and highlight the value that they bring even greater, and really helps to also show the value of working with someone one-on-one that's specifically helping to address their needs versus them trying to go and figure it out on their own. So it's going to increase their conversion rate of clients signing up to work with someone. A big component of the intentional planning, of course, is having a program in place. It's amazing to me how many trainers just go out and wing it and they don't create a 4 or 6 weeks program for their clients. And I've seen it timing. And then those trainers who don't invest in creating and crafting those programs, their retention rate is not as high as those that do, because people really love to have a program set in place. My clients have told me this over and over again. One of the reasons they enjoy working with me is because I do create these programs. They have an idea what they're doing for 4 weeks. I program for 4 weeks. And they also know how I change it up, how I determine what the next one is going to be, which is also what these high demand trainers do, is they have a clear rationale for what the next phase look like, how they determine what that is. And clients get real excited when they find out next week you're going to have an updated program that we're going to be following. And of course, there's progressions through that, and you're showing that. Clients don't need to be overwhelmed with the details, but they should feel that there's a system behind what they are doing. And that sense of direction creates confidence, and confidence causes clients to stay longer. So on to the next thing that high demand trainers have, and that is a purposeful specialization. These trainers are known to help individuals with a specific need. They're not trying to help everyone. They are known for helping someone. They have a special niche of a person that they work with. Now, that doesn't mean that they won't work with people outside of that, but they have a specific group of people that they are well versed in serving and helping. There's been a big shift in the personal training world and those seeking out personal training. Before, it used to be the 35-year-old female or the 45-year-old male who just wanted to lose weight, get in shape. Those were the top ones looking for personal training. With all the options that are available today for on demand, there's been a big shift where those people aren't seeking out personal training like they used to. Instead, those that are seeking out personal training are those that know that if they just try these on demand things, it may not be safe for them. It's because they have a specific problem like a heart condition or limitations due to their aging, or they have a history of some back or shoulder injuries. They could possibly be pregnant and want to be able to work out safely, or they also have a hobby they really enjoy that they want to make sure that they can continue enjoying, and seeking someone to help them specifically to train them safely for that, such as whether they play golf or they go skiing. And so they're concerned they don't trust the generic advice out there to help them. So therefore they're seeking a personal trainer to assist them. And that's why it is so important for personal trainers to specialize. So these high demand trainers are specializing. They're finding a population that they love and enjoy working with, and they are focusing on their training and their educations on helping to provide the best service and training for those individuals. These high domain trainers then, with this kind of specialization and knowledge of helping a specific group of individuals, can then really speak about clarity and confidence in those areas and really be authority of being able to help somebody with those potential, whatever specific need that they have. And so this positions those trainers as a solution, not a commodity, because commodities are really easy to replace and solutions are what people are looking for. They want to hear and see that I help people with shoulder injuries still be able to golf, for example. And I'm going to be talking more about specialization and having a niche in the next podcast and even the following interviews, because that's becoming so important in our industry. For my last point on what high demand trainers do differently is in their professional presence. This is about building trust before the results even show up. Clients decide how seriously to take someone before they even see physical results. And professionalism isn't about being rigid, it's just about being reliable. There's several things that these high demand trainers do to really show professionalism. And let me just say this too. Being professional really helps people to take this career more seriously. I think oftentimes the personal training, the world and business of personal trainer, being a personal trainer is just like, oh, you just give people workouts. And especially when you have your business of your own, they might take you not as seriously because they just think it's just about workouts when it's so much more. So showing professionalism helps to elevate the industry and to really show that trainers are not just passing out workouts. So there's several things that these high domain trainers do that shows professionalism. One is in how they dress and present themselves. It is so awesome in our industry that we get to just wear workout clothes for our professional attire. How it's so nice. But you've got that workout, you've got your professional attire. There's these workout clothes that can be sloppy and not well put together versus those that are clean and well put together. You don't want to, these trainers don't look like they just came from a workout. Rather, instead, they are, nicely dressed for fitness and fitness attire, and also and also their appearance as far as what their hair looks like, and if they're wearing makeup. For my clients, I wear makeup and I keep my hair down. And for me, that's one way to just show that I care about my appearance and how I'm showing them, because this is my profession and my business. And I'm not just rolling out of bed to see them, because I have a very short commute. I got 2 flights of stairs. So it can be easy to make it look like I just did that. But I get up and I get myself prepared for them. Another thing that these trainers do is how they communicate. They communicate very professionally in their emails, in their text. They're not sloppy communication. It's polite, it's thorough, well written. Um, whether it be via email or text, replying in a timely manner, following up in those instances when clients say they're sick or they have something big going on. These trainers show these clients that they care for them beyond just their training session. Another thing that these high demand trainers do for professionalism is they prepare for their sessions, not just programming, having the client's program in place and planned out, but also any other sort of details that that might be needed, prepping the space if there's time and possibly if there's time for that, as well as being ready for any modifications that they may need to make based on how that client is doing that day, what's going on. The last piece of one of those high demand trainers do to show professionalism is they're very clear and respectful about time, boundaries, and expectations. Their client's time is their client's time from that hour. They are focused on their client for that hour, but then when that time ends, they are sure to show, okay, that they're starting on the next person on time, to show professionalism for both clients on both ends. Say, I'm serious about the time you have with me. I'm very committed. And then the next person's time is their time, and I'm very committed to that. And this also has to do not only with their client's time, but the time they have, their own personal time. They're clear about when they're available and not available. And this sort of leads into the boundaries part of maybe not communicating between certain hours, or when you have time off, that it's your time off. And again, this isn't about being rigid or rude or anything like that, but it's just being very thoughtful and clear about expectations and around working with your clients and with your business. Because overall, professionalism makes your clients feel like I'm in good hands. And people don't walk away from environments where they feel supported and respected. So I've just shared with you 4 big things that high demand trainers do in order to stay booked up year after year. And that was to have client-centered thinking, intentional planning, purposeful specialization, and a professional presence. And when these 4 elements are present, something very important happens. Clients don't feel like they're just getting a workout. They feel seen, guided, supported, and confident in the process. When clients trust the process and the professional guiding them, price can become secondary, and comparison to other trainers they could possibly work out or other things they could be doing stops, and their loyalty to that trainer really increases. Because clients stay not because those workouts are hard, but because the experience feels intentional, personal, and professional. So if you're a trainer out there and you are struggling to grow your business, to retain your clients, keep your schedule full, Think about these 4 elements that I've just shared with you, and if where in those you might be needing to implement some of those or make some changes in the way you train in your profession that will help you to create that client loyalty. And it's a real honest kind of conversation you have to have with yourself, and maybe even, and this can be really hard, but really maybe getting some feedback from some colleagues, from those that you know that really that from those that you know that are having a thriving business. Ask them what they see that you could be doing different in order to have the same thing. Learn from those who are doing well, because we want you to thrive. We want you to do well in the personal training business. The turnover rate is way too high, and you got into this job because you were very passionate and you want to help people. But it's going to may take some extra works or changes in order to make that happen. So be honest and real with yourself on what pieces of these you feel that you could improve upon. Now, if you're one of those trainers out there who have been that are in high demand and really created this strong client loyalty, love to hear from you. Please share what you feel has been the reasons that you have been successful. All right, as we wrap up here, I want to be sure for those of you who are thinking about going on your own or even already have, I want to know further the steps and details in order to get to have your own business. Be sure to get the Solo Trainer guidebook and checklist. The links to that will be below in the description and show notes. All right, so in the next episode, I'm really going to be digging deeper about having a niche and why it's so important, and how specialization turns personal trainers into authorities. I've also got some interviews lined up to also discuss that. So that next episode will, if you're watching via YouTube, will be right up here once that's available. And until then, until I see you next time, here's the great that awaits.